Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Con Hurley. I've been teaching at the Law School of Financial Services for 20 years. During most of that time, I was an independent director at the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston. And I'd like to talk to you today about the largest, weakest, most fraudulent government agency that most of you have never heard of. And it is called the Federal Home Loan Bank System. It was created in, that was up. That was down. Okay, there we go. The Federal Home Loan Bank System, for background, was created in 1932 to address a housing crisis that existed at that time. What we're hearing is there's a crisis today, and it's time for the Federal Home Loan Bank System to get on it. But before we describe to you how they can get on it, here's some numbers. 11. There are 11 Federal Home Loan Banks. One is here in Boston, the 9th and 10th floor of the Prudential Building, okay? Boston, San Francisco, New York, et cetera. $1.6 trillion. That's the amount of debt issued by the 11 home loan banks. That's trillion with a T. Okay, that debt is entirely supported by you and by me. It is subsidized debt, cheap debt. $9.3 billion is the conservative estimate of the actual subsidy that you and I give to the home loan banks. If I told you there was a CEO of a government agency making $3 million a year, you'd be angry. If I told you there were 11 of these CEOs, plus a C-suite, making $3 million a year and less, but the CEO is making, I would think you'd be a little upset. You all remember the banking crisis from last spring. That was caused largely by the home loan banks. Here's another number, 150, 150. The home loan banks loaned tons of money to Silicon Valley, First Republic, Signature Bank. That amount of funding was 150 times what the 11 home loan banks as a group devoted to affordable housing last year. 150 times. That's wrong. That is wrong. Fortunately, I and others over the past 2.5 years have been writing consistently about this injustice. And fortunately, the regulator of the home loan banks has been listening. And she conducted a years-long review and came up with a report last October that says this cannot stand. Affordable housing has to be tripled. Running through every one of your marvelous presentations, but unmentioned, has been funding. This is the most powerful opportunity on the table today to begin to alleviate that. So how do we do it? Well, first of all, you could call Tim Barrett. He's the CEO of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston. And you could ask him, why are you making 5 times what the CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, Susan Collins, is making, and her job is much more consequential than yours? Call Elizabeth Warren, call Stephen Lynch, call Ayanna Pressley. Each of them are on the banking committees of the House or the Senate. Speak to any banker you know, speak to them and urge them to get on the bandwagon for reform and stop resisting it. We can do this. Thank you.